I still remember the day I found the board. It was tucked away in an antique shop, hidden beneath stacks of yellowed postcards and tarnished silver spoons. The wood was dingy, the paint chipped, and the cursive letters faded almost to oblivion. For $5, I carried it home in a battered cardboard box, convinced it would make an interesting conversation piece for my next party. That evening, I cleared the coffee table, dimmed the lights, and lit 3 white candles. The dancing shadows along the walls flickered like restless spirits. My friends, Mike, Jenna, and Tara, sat cross-legged on the rug, eyes bright with curiosity. We placed our fingers lightly on the planchette. A cold draft stirred in the room, though every window was closed. At first, nothing happened. We joked about spirits barista and ghosts of Halloween past. Then, slowly, agonizingly, the planchette slid toward yes. Jenna let out a breathy laugh, but her fingers tensed. We asked for a name, and the pointer crept to M, paused at I, then hesitated between R and A. It spelled Myra. My breath puffed in the candlelight, though there was no chill in the air. When I asked if Mira was friendly, it rushed to no. A thump came from the kitchen, a sound like a dropped plate. But when Mike jumped up, everything stood still. The planchette spelled one more word: stay. Laughter felt hollow in the suddenly heavy air. The warmth drained from our bodies. We ended the session, guiding the planchette to goodbye, and blew out the candles. In the darkness, Mike pointed at the couch where the board sat propped against a throw pillow. I swore I saw a shape slip behind it. That night, I woke to distant whispers. My phone clock glowed 2:13 a.m. I rubbed my eyes and followed the soft murmurs to the living room. The board lay face down, planchette beside it. The leftover candle stumps cast faint orange halos. I reached to set the board upright, and the planchette shot under it as if pushed. My heart pounded. I knelt to slide it out, but the space underneath seemed impossibly narrow. Panic welled like bile in my throat. In the days that followed, Mira's presence grew. My apartment felt colder. I'd catch glimpses of movement in the corner of my eye, a pale shape crouching behind the curtains, 2 pinpricks of light hovering at the threshold. At work, I felt watched. Co-workers said I looked distracted, but I insisted I was fine, just tired. That night, I heard breathing beside my bed, felt a cold finger trace along my jaw. I bolted upright, but nothing was there. Desperation led me back to Jenna's place, planchette in hand. We tried to burn it in her fireplace. Flames licked the wood's edges, black smoke curling upward, but the board refused to catch. We watched as a crack split the circle of letters, yet the planchette remained untouched. Then, scorched into the charred wood, one word appeared: friends. We buried the broken fragments in her backyard under a heavy rock. I left with a grim sense of relief. For a while, the world felt normal again. But one morning, I found the planchette on my pillow, its underside cold against my cheek. I hadn't brought it back. I would have known. I attempted to rid myself of it. I tossed the planchette into the dumpster behind my building, but it rolled out of the bag and landed at my feet, as if seeking me. The sky was gray, the trash bins reeking of rot, and dread closed around my throat. I dropped the bag and fled. Later, I carried it to a riverbank, watching it bob in the current before sinking out of sight. I thought it was over. That afternoon, I unlocked my front door and froze. Scrawled across the dusty entryway mirror in tiny smear marks was one word: hello. No paint, no ink, just condensation and filthy fingerprints. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Misplaced something? I stared at the empty table where the planchette once lay. In the corner, a faint indentation in the rug suggested something heavy had rested there. The unease in my chest tightened until it felt impossible to breathe. I cannot explain how it returned or why it wants me to play. Some nights I swear I hear it tapping on the floorboards, begging for attention. Sometimes, when the wind howls just right, I think I hear a tiny voice whisper my name through the cracks in the walls. I don't know what Mira wants. I only know that until I can close that door for good, I'll never be alone. In 2021, I was renting a house just outside of Tallahassee with 2 roommates from college. It was an old place, cheap, run down, and surrounded by trees. One weekend, both my roommates were gone visiting family, and I had the house to myself. I had just finished midterms and didn't feel like partying or going out, so I decided to clean. While clearing out the storage closet in the hallway, I found something strange wedged between some board games, a battered vintage Ouija board. It looked like it had been through hell, edges burned, letters worn down. I don't even know how it got there. Neither of my roommates claimed it. I should have thrown it out. Instead, I used it. I was curious and bored. I lit a candle in the living room, turned off the overhead lights, and set the board down on the coffee table. I placed my fingers lightly on the planchette and asked the same cliché question. Is anyone there? For a long time, nothing, just silence. The candle flickered now and then, and I almost packed it up when it finally moved. It slid slowly to yes. My heart dropped. I wasn't pushing it, I swear. What's your name? I asked. It spelled Z-O-Z-O. At the time, I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was gibberish, so I asked again. This time, the planchette jerked violently across the board, spelling Z-O-Z-O, Z-O, Z-O, over and over, non-stop, until I pulled my hands away. The room went ice cold. The candle blew out on its own. That's when I heard a noise behind me. Slow, deliberate, like claws dragging across wood. I turned around with my phone's flashlight. Nothing was there. But when I looked down, scratched into the hardwood floor beneath the board was one word: demon. I froze. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I grabbed the board, ran outside, and threw it in the dumpster. I thought that was the end of it. But that night, I woke up to something growling inside the walls of my bedroom. It was a deep, animalistic growl that moved from one end of the room to the other. It didn't sound like anything I've heard in nature. I've had sleep paralysis ever since. And sometimes, when it's really bad, I see a black, inhuman figure crouching in the corner of my room, smiling, waiting. To this day, I avoid saying its name out loud, and I warn people that if they ever see that name while playing, say goodbye or else Zozo will visit you at night. This happened when I was 17, still living at home with my parents and my younger sister, Lacey, who was 13 at the time. It was the middle of summer, and we were doing a deep clean of the house, something my mom made us do every few months. She sent me up to the attic to organize some boxes and donate old clothes. I found the usual stuff: Christmas decorations, high school yearbooks, broken lamps. Then I found something that didn't belong to us. It was tucked in the back corner under a pile of dusty blankets, an old Ouija board wrapped in a pillowcase. But this wasn't your typical game board. It was hand-carved, thick wood with burned-in letters, and a planchette shaped more like a teardrop. It gave me the chills, but I brought it down anyway, figuring my mom might know where it came from. She didn't. She said she'd never seen it before. My sister was fascinated. She begged me to try it with her, and after enough pestering, I finally gave in. We waited until our parents went to bed. Around midnight, we lit a few candles in her room, set the board on the carpet between us, and put our fingers on the planchette. We asked the usual question: is there anyone here? The planchette didn't move at first, but after about 20 seconds, it slowly slid over to yes. We both looked at each other, unsure if the other one was doing it. I swear, I wasn't. I asked, "What's your name?" It spelled Lucy. My sister laughed nervously and asked, "Where are you?" The planchette slid again. Incloset. We both froze. My sister's closet door had been open just a crack before. But now, it creaked. I swear on my life, neither of us touched it. She bolted from the room. I stayed. I asked the board, "Lucy, what do you want?" It spelled you. I was trying to act like I wasn't scared, but I felt the temperature in the room drop. I had goosebumps up my arms and neck, and the candlelight started to flicker. Then I heard something from inside the closet.
"Come here."
I slid the planchette over the word goodbye, blew the candle out, and ran. We tried to forget about it, told ourselves it was our imagination, that we spooked each other. But the next few nights, things started happening. My sister would wake up screaming, saying there was a girl with long black hair standing next to her bed, watching her. I started hearing footsteps upstairs when no one was home. One night, we were watching TV and her closet door slowly opened by itself. It was subtle, but I saw it. I even recorded it on my phone once. What got me the most was the timing. Every single night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., her closet door would be wide open, no matter how many times we closed it. Eventually, we burned the board. We doused it in lighter fluid and torched it in a fire pit out back. But even now, months later, my sister refuses to sleep in that room. And the closet? We keep it sealed shut, with nails. Whatever Lucy was, I don't think she ever left.